Now, if you've been watching from the very beginning, thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. We are looking at partnership to transform food systems globally. It's a GAFSP replenishing event. And we tried earlier to connect with Ibrahima Coulibaly. He's the president of the Network of Farmers and Agricultural Producers Organizations of West Africa. You may well know the organization's name as ROPPA. We cannot have this event without the voices of the farmers in this event. We have had them on video. We are determined to have them happen live. So, everybody, cross everything. Cross your eyes, cross your fingers, cross your feet. Okay. Ibrahima, are you there?
Oui, bonjour.
Yes, Mrs. Ma'am, I'm here.
Sans vos questions, madame. Oui, ça va bien.
I am well.
Glad you are well.
Merci, moi aussi.
Me too. Ibrahima.
Farmers into this conversation. We were talking about collaboration, the power of collaboration.
Right.
We are collaborating with farmers. Whatever else we're doing, we're collaborating with farmers. What is it that farmers either are doing or want or need to get to SDG 2 because they've got the raw materials already?
Absolument.
Absolutely. I'd like to thank you for this question. And to speak about partnership, indeed, I think you have to ask the questions. Why haven't we moved further ahead as opposed to the concrete results we could have had in terms of reducing poverty, hunger, malnutrition? Very often we have bad partners in many countries, and at the sub-regional level there are bad policies. It's very important to go beyond that if we want to forge ahead. Many donors put aside financial needs. You need more funds. We need more resources, but the quality and how we use this is more important than the quantity. So for us, indeed, we need infrastructure, equipment, water. We have to transform, treat our products to sell them. That can be solved by different ways. So the state must play a greater role. They have financial needs, and it must be supported by a whole array of partnerships. But for quality, the people must listen, sit around the table. Transparency must reign supreme. We should act so that the funds go right down to the grassroots, to the villages. That was the problem. That's why we stayed in a situation where hunger and malnutrition increases. But when GAFSP created, they asked the good questions. That's why it was created. But the farmers must be at the beginning, at the end of all these issues. They represent 70–80% of the people in certain countries. You can't solve the problem of hunger if you can't discuss vulnerability. We have to start by discussing with the farmers. And when a state decides to start a project, it must discuss with the organization of producers. They have to agree. GAFS enabled that civil society and these organizations, if it has the same, if it can be heard like the states, that's what's unique about GAFS. And they have to assess the projects in the different countries. I'd like to salute the Togolese project, which for us was one of the best projects. And if I don't say it here, I'm not, usually I'm stingy with compliments, but it was one of the best projects. It has to be said loud and clear. Some government do not want to open up their doors. They instrumentalize the farmers to get funds, but at the end of the day, they cut off. But the GAFSP is unique, but it must become the norm. You should not use the farmers for such a project. So if we want to forge ahead, we have to. Things must be very clear, transparent, and very inclusive. We have to be able to evaluate, not leniently, these projects. This is an extraordinary process, and we're asking the financial partners to refurbish the gas. Now we realize that despite our efforts, when the project, a lot of producer organizations were excluded. We wanted a window for these organizations, and they're yielding results that were presented during this discussion. And I think that we're in the process of creating a healthy competition to show that the private sector, the organization of producers, and the states, the governments that are implementing projects, what can yield the best results? I think that will enable it to reach the objectives of sustainable, to eradicate poverty and hunger and malnutrition.
Coulibaly is the president of ROPPA, bringing the voice of the farmers, so critical to our conversation, not just today, but any conversation when you're talking about SDG 2. Now, Ibrahima may be stingy with his compliments, but I certainly am not. It was worth the wait to get him into our event. Thank you, Ibrahima Coulibaly.